She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my...
So this is something I talk about with Black Americans more than the diaspora route. But so let's talk about racism. Racism involves power. Now, Black Americans are the most advanced when it comes to all the diasporic groups at recognizing what racism is, studying it, cataloging it, and being able to navigate through it. Racism is about power, and you guys are forgetting that. And so when I see these TikToks and they're like a black girl in France or a black girl in this, I'm like, okay, are you Black American or African? And they're like, what does it matter? Well, it does, because it's not just about the color of your skin. Because if I'm in France and they see I'm American and the attitude changes, or I think in Africa you guys have like certain countries are treated better at, I don't know, somebody who's African told me that once they find out what African country it makes it, I don't know what the hierarchy is, I really don't, but like, yes, because every single country has a particular relationship with those particular people. So let's talk about the power dynamic. If your dynamic, all they know about you is that you're an immigrant, so coming to their land, and you're competing for jobs, I don't care what country you're in, you're going to piss the locals off. It'll always be pissed off. It doesn't matter. This guy was just promoting that Italians are offering 500,000 work visas for specialized people. You don't think with Italians leaving their country, they're not going to be pissed with anyone who gets those jobs? It doesn't matter if they're qualified or not. You don't think that they're going to be pissed that they didn't hire Italians at the current price? It doesn't. And this guy was saying this to Americans who are thinking of coming over there. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to racism, it involves power. And if you're an immigrant group, that's always going to be a problem. Because on one hand, they're going to be like, why didn't you make your own country nice enough so you wanted to stay in? And to be honest, Black Americans say that a lot too, because we could have left USA. But we were like, I would rather stay here and fix this shitty ass place. And we have worked and worked and worked to it to a point where we do have opportunities that we had to work for and we finally got, or the opportunity to be who we want to be. But we do look at it and go, we're not going to go be some poor people in an African land with no money. Like, we're just not going to do it. It's pride, whatever. But that's our Western value system, right? So the thing is, race involves power. And so people are getting mad that I said this, but I'm like, it really is different. You can't act like there's not a difference between what passport you in. And what it is instead of getting mad about it, like, let's break this down. So listen to my Black American self break it down. We told you racism is power. So if I walk up and they treat me a certain way, then find out I'm American and it switches, that was prejudice. It wasn't power. They don't hold power over me. Because one, I'm not an immigrant group. I'm not here competing for jobs. I am here, yes, but am I competing for jobs? No. Brought my own money. I come here as a tourist, and then I leave. So what power are they holding over me? They're not holding the power of the job. They're not holding the power of ego. Oh, we have this country you want to move to, and you have to ask us for... No. I'm bringing my money and leaving. So that's economic power. As an American citizen, that's status and power, because the American... Something can happen to someone from, say, Thailand or Senegal. It may make the news. If it happens to an American, it will go worldwide, good or bad. That's power. That means, oh, well, you can't just push this person around and think it doesn't have consequences. It will show up on the news. It will make national headlines. Everyone will have an eyeball on us. People don't want eyeballs on you all the time. So yeah, there's certain things that go into that power as an American. It's media, it's money, it's status, and it's, we're not immigrants, right? Like, there are people who might come over, might not, but have, is 30% of the French population American immigrants? No. So the thing is, we haven't built up that resentment that every country gets when immigrants come in. And I'm not saying I'm like this. I don't care. I'm competitive. You can come into my country, America, and be competitive. I'm competitive too. So like, I personally don't care. However, you need to get out your feelings and understand, if you come to any country and are asking them for jobs or want to live in their society, you give them power over you, because they're not trying to go to your society and live in your society. You want to integrate into theirs. And these particular people, if you go to Europe, well, who told you Europeans didn't like flexing power? So, like, you're going to a group that really likes to flex a little bit that they have wherever they can. And so, boom, like, so yeah, they're like, oh, you're not an immigrant, you're a tourist, so you're just going to leave money and leave? Okay, money's power, and you're bringing money to me. And there's not 30% of you, or 20%, or 15% of you moving in, taking my jobs. Why would you have a problem with that group? And take race out of it. It could be two people from two Asian countries. You have one where maybe 20% of the population is Chinese, and you have people from Japan come. Japan just come as tourists, drop money, and leave. They might have issues with Chinese who they lived by and had to integrate with, even though they didn't invite, nor did, maybe they didn't want, maybe they did. I'm just saying, just get out your feelings. This is just general. I'm explaining this because you guys just don't get it, and so I'm giving it to you so now you understand, okay? Black America knows power, and we know how to play this game, and you guys don't because you're surprised of what I'm saying when you should understand it, right? So, yes, so if it changes based on your passport, and it's based upon the power that that passport has, not only to, like I said, media, influence, money, status, and then you also add on top, okay, are you an immigrant or you're just a visitor? That's different. Like, that's different. A visitor's gonna leave. They're gonna go. They bring money. You enjoy their time. They go. There isn't an issue to develop. But someone was saying that it doesn't make a difference where you're from or your passport. I'm like, are we really debating that? Because we do know it's true. And apparently, from what I've heard from different African women, they said even within Africa there's a hierarchy. I couldn't even tell you the hierarchy. If someone wants to, someone wants to tell me what the hierarchy is, and then it just depends on where you're at. Like, one country, maybe Nigerians didn't immigrate there, so if you're Nigerian, you come to their country, maybe they're just like, oh, I don't care. They're Nigerian. People are very nice people. But if the same country has like 10% increase in Ghanaians who are immigrants, they're going to have issues with Ghanaians that Nigerian visiting that country won't have. Like, this isn't, if you get out your feelings and understand the power behind it, you understand where this comes from. So whenever you have an immigrant group, whatever that immigrant group, when you're in that group, there's going to be resentment. I don't care if you go to America. I don't care if you go to Thailand. I was in Costa Rica. Costa Ricans didn't like the poor Nicaraguans coming to Costa Rica. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be, if you're an immigrant in their country, they're holding some sort of power because you want their jobs, you're competing for jobs, that's going to create resentment. Now, if all these Nicaraguans weren't poor and they came to Costa Rica and they brought money, I don't think it would have been a problem. If all the African immigrants who were in Europe came, but they didn't need jobs, they brought money, I don't think there'd be a problem because money's power, right? So it's the power imbalance. There is a reason why different passports have that. And if it was skin color, it wouldn't matter if they found that out, that everything changes. But it's not just skin color. You know what I mean? And some, like, apparently you do get people where it's like, it don't matter for any of them, but pretty consistently they're like, it's different. And I guess I just want to say, what happened to her wasn't nice. I think they tried that on me in a small little town. But like I said, I'm American. I handle racism in an American way, and we checked it. And it was cool. Maybe when I started talking, that's why it was checked quickly when we called them out. And then I just went about my business, and it didn't have a lasting impact. So like I said, maybe me checking it, is it because I checked it? Because I'm used to Americans, so like we're very straightforward on handling that business. But maybe it's because when I started talking and they saw I was American, they were like, oops, we don't want this to get to other American visitors who come and leave money and go, because that's a form of economic power, right? We don't want to mess up that money, that stream of money. So, like, none of this is like, are we special? I mean, as a Black American, I do think we're special. I do think we're different. I will stand 10 toes down that we have one of the richest cultures in the world. Athletic-wise, talent-wise, invention-wise, intellectual, political savvy-wise, music-wise, dancing-wise, I will put that. But that's just Lisa, who's very proud of her past. But, like, it's not just, like, it's name another country, insert person. It's literally the same thing. It's just about power.